Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving straight into the fascinating arguments, the digital mechanics, and the super specific technological workarounds from a recent broadcast of the Saudi dissident show JADA50. It's basically a unique window into how modern political dissent actually operates in a heavily monitored digital age. We're going to look at exactly how these broadcasters formulate their critiques, and honestly, what's even more interesting, how they use cutting-edge tech to reach their audience.
We've got to start with this striking quote right from the source material. Corruption in my country is an integrated system. They don't ask who stole, but who dared to speak. Wow, that really drops us right into their intensely critical stance, doesn't it? The panelists are arguing that systemic injustice is just so normalized that speaking out is treated like a way bigger crime than actual financial theft. This idea absolutely sets the stage for everything else they talk about.
All right, so here's the roadmap for today. First, we'll look at their critiques of systemic corruption. Then we'll examine state censorship tactics. After that, how they actually bypass firewalls with an app called JADA. And finally, how they're using AI for digital resistance. Let's get into it.
Starting off with Section 1, critiques of systemic corruption, specifically economic grievances and their call for justice.
Now, what's really fascinating here is how callers to the broadcast, people using pseudonyms like Mulatham JADA and Mulatham Tabuk, which basically translates to masked from Jeddah and masked from Tabuk, how they explicitly link everyday economic struggles to political repression. You know, they point to things like the sudden jump to a 15% value-added tax, soaring gas prices, and an alleged national debt hitting $2 trillion. And they tie all of that directly to the detention of activists who try to speak out. Their main claim? The state extracts wealth from citizens through taxes, but completely silences anyone asking where that money is actually going.
The broadcast draws a really sharp contrast here. They argue that the government's official narrative of modernization completely clashes with the harsh economic realities ordinary citizens are facing. They specifically call out the massive investments in Vision 2030 megaprojects, entertainment hubs like Qiddiya, and luxury tourism. To the folks on JADA50, these are just, well, glittering distractions meant for the international stage, while the local population is stuck dealing with stagnant salaries and a sky-high cost of living.
Which brings us to Section 2, censorship and silencing dissent. Let's look at the state tactics used to control the narrative.
So the host actually ran a live poll during the broadcast, asking viewers why state media was failing to capture public trust compared to independent digital voices. And check this out, an overwhelming 75% of participants said it was directly because of a fear of free expression. That's huge. It shows that respondents feel official channels are strictly top-down, basically designed to shut out any opposing viewpoints or real grassroots feedback.
But it's not just about blocking accounts. One of the panelists, who goes by Sheikh Ahmad, claims the state deliberately floods social media with distracting or even illicit content. According to the broadcast, whenever major domestic events happen, like the recent attacks on the Aba airport they mentioned, state-aligned bot networks, which they call electronic flies, just totally swarm local hashtags. The alleged goal here is to bury serious political discussion under an avalanche of irrelevant posts, basically short-circuiting public awareness.
Okay, so here is the million-dollar question. When you're up against this massive level of reported digital control, we're talking network blocks and literal bot swarms, how exactly are these voices still reaching tens of thousands of viewers on highly regulated platforms like TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook?
Well, that naturally brings us to Section 3, bypassing firewalls with JADA. Let's talk about the tools of digital resistance.
This is such a brilliant workaround. They use a specialized application called JADA, which translates to bridge. Think about the sheer irony here. Billions of dollars potentially spent on sophisticated state firewalls being quietly bypassed by a free, lightweight app. During the broadcast, they push this app hard to their listeners. Because unlike those bulky traditional VPNs that are easy to detect, get blocked, or just completely drain your phone's battery, JADA is presented as a highly secure alternative. Plus, it doesn't even require a user account. So it's completely anonymous, letting users inside the country slip right past state firewalls and tune in safely.
Moving right along to our final section, using AI for digital resistance and how they craft symbolic messages.
The host actually broke down exactly how he used prompts in Meta AI to design their broadcast thumbnail. It's almost like a digital certificate of resistance. Let's look at the specific political symbols he asked the AI to generate.
First, a Palestinian keffiyeh in the background to show unwavering support for Gaza. Right in the center, he prompted a ballot box, which symbolizes the Quranic principle of shura, or consultation, basically representing their demand for democratic choice over hereditary rule. And finally, an olive branch, projecting hope for a peaceful post-Al-Saud future. It is just a really fascinating look at how activists are leveraging everyday commercial AI to instantly craft some seriously potent political imagery.
To further rally their audience, they also lean heavily on international comparisons to critique state policy. In the broadcast, they contrast Malaysia's strict public stance on Israel, specifically highlighting Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim's refusal to allow Israeli citizens into the country, with what they allege is Saudi Arabia's covert complicity. The panelists claim that while the state projects this image of Islamic leadership, it's secretly providing logistical support and open airspace to Israeli interests.
So how are they actually mobilizing their listeners? Well, rather than urging dangerous physical street protests, which they totally acknowledge would just lead to immediate arrest, the hosts give out these super clear, step-by-step instructions for viewers to securely join the digital resistance. Step 1, absolutely avoid traditional traceable communication like Gmail or SMS. Step 2, set up a secure, encrypted Proton Mail account. And Step 3, use that account to send in stories and grievances anonymously so the host can broadcast them to the world. It's a completely decentralized, digitally cautious form of activism.
The whole vibe of the broadcast is perfectly captured in this quote. We have bypassed their media, their electronic flies, and their billions with a single sincere word. We will remove this injustice. Despite the billions allegedly poured into state media, PR, and surveillance, the hosts frame their digital survival as a massive, humiliating victory over the state. They truly believe that decentralized tech, paired with a sincere message, makes them virtually unstoppable.
Which leaves us with this final, really critical question. We've seen how tools like Gist, Proton Mail, and AI are giving dissidents unprecedented power to organize and broadcast anonymously. But as states keep evolving their own cyber capabilities, can grassroots digital resistance truly dismantle systemic state censorship in the long term? Or are we just looking at an endless, high-tech game of cat and mouse? It's a fascinating intersection of technology and power, and one we're definitely going to be watching for years to come. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning what you see.